it says that we're live. Okay. Peace forever and always, and welcome to another. Hopefully, rather we are. And we're live. Forgot to turn that off. Okay. All right, here we go. Peace forever and always, and welcome to another edition of what I call the Reality's Temple on Earth Internet Ministry. I am the host, gatekeeper of this program, known here around the social media web, known as the mighty one, Angel Snub 7, and I am also your soul brother number 1. And as promised, we are here to continue our talk about should or it may be time for blacks to leave America, and that subject was led by our assistant administrator, Brother Taalik. He's in the house. How you doing there, brother, this morning?
Just how you doing, brother? All right.
That's good. That's good. You know, we're doing fine considering, you know, we're surrounded by racists.
Right. Exactly.
You know, I don't know if that's such a good thing myself personally. I don't think that's a good thing. You know, matter of fact, that's our problem. You know, we're so comfortable in this mess. You know, and when you get, you know something, you and I both have this experience. It reminds me of becoming institutionalized.
Right, exactly.
See, because when you become institutionalized, you actually become comfortable being incarcerated.
Exactly.
You know, now some guys that's in the prison system, they are sentenced for the rest of their life. They're done. But then you have those guys that may not be there that long or whatever. They have an opportunity, you know, to get free. But But you and I both know after a certain period of time of living in incarceration, you get comfortable with the lifestyle, you make friends and whatever. You know, pretty soon it get to the point where it becomes a way of life.
Exactly.
See, that's where the problems start. It becomes a way of life. So they become institutionalized. It gets to the point where they really don't want to go nowhere. They don't want freedom.
Exactly.
So now look, imagine if you're a baby. Now, you know, in a women's prison, they don't allow this, but let's say, for instance, if they allow this, the women to have their babies and the babies get to stay with them in the prison.
Right.
The prison is the only life that child knows. It was born into incarceration. So when you tell that baby, now the mother understands what freedom is because that mother was never always in the prison. But that baby was born in that condition. And you tell that child about what freedom is, that child has no idea what you're talking about because the only thing that child knows is the routine of the prison. And the child, since that's the only life the child knows, the child really has no interest in what you're talking about.
Right.
Because this is the only life that this child has ever known.
Right.
So I don't really get so angry at so-called black people. I call us the people of soul. The description is the descendants of slaves born in America having dark skin. That's the description.
Right.
But our identity that I choose to use for us is brothers and sisters of soul.
Right.
Soul brothers and sisters.
Right.
There's a man who acts like he's really dumb and, you know, really stupid. He can't tell the difference between the definition and the actual identity.
Wow.
You know, folks, I mean, they love to play the dumb role. Right. You know, what are you talking about? What you mean by that? You really, you know, you really making yourself look really stupid and a clown.
Right.
But that's our problem, is that we've been born, you know, we who are the descendants of slaves born in this nation, This is all we know. We was born into this. And when we talk about freedom, I mean, we can talk about it. It sounds good, but we really don't know what it is because we've never been free. How can you talk about something? How can you even want something that you never experienced?
Yeah.
So it's nothing but, it goes back to what we say here on this channel. It all goes back to feel-good rhetoric.
Right.
See, when I was incarcerated, the reason why I fought so hard to get out of that place was because I knew I could do better, and I knew that I knew what freedom, I still, you know, of course, as you know, this is not freedom, but I know what a better privilege was. I call it freedom.
Right.
Okay. I knew what that was about. So when I was locked up, that was the energy. That was the, you know, that's what drove me. I got to get out of here. I got to get out of here. And I made people sick to the stomach because they got tired of me saying that.
Right.
Because they want to watch sports. They want to watch sports. I'm talking about, I want to get out of here. I want to get out of here. Right. They want to talk about getting in somebody's panties. I'm talking about, I want to get out of here. I get that later. You know, I get that later, but I want to get out of here. You know, I want out of here. Do you understand? I want out. I don't want to hear no other conversation. I don't care what the housewives of Atlanta is doing. I don't care what the president is doing. I don't care what the Negroes on the corner is doing. I want out of here. That's the only conversation I want to engage in. How can I get out? I want out. But see, when you're comfortable in your oppression, or you have no idea what freedom really is, then, you know, you lackadaisical. What's that word? You lack.
Yeah.
And, you know, you talk a good game, but you're not really serious. It goes back to what we was talking about earlier this morning, about these guys talking about, I want to go, I'm going to Africa. You know, I'm going Africa this, Africa that. But they're not going nowhere.
Right.
If they really felt truly that way, we wouldn't even be having that conversation. We would be doing a Google Hangout. We would be here in America, and they would be in Africa.
Right.
Telling us about how wonderful it is.
Right.
But these guys are screwing around because they're not real about it. Right. One of the fellas, as you know, he's buying land. And I thought when he first was getting ready to say it, I was like, wow, he's getting ready to buy land in Africa. He's getting ready to buy land in the good old USA. But Africa is the place to be, so I'm told. They even say that Africa is giving away land to descendants of slaves born here. Go get it. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, go get it. Ain't nobody making no real efforts to go get nothing. Here, Umar Johnson, a Pan-African, supposed to be, want to build a school. If they giving free land, you got enough money, $700,000, you could actually build your school there. But of course, as you know, these people aren't serious. You know, it's not. But just like the title of this Google Hangout is, it may be time for blacks to leave America. And this is not to exclude the continent. We're not excluding the continent. If there's a place that we feel that is safe and it favors us, why not? Why not go to Africa? But I'm not going to just say Africa is the only place to be. No, I'm not going to do that. Because there are a lot of people who are getting the hell out of Africa, running to Europe and coming here. So apparently all of that continent is not a good place to go. So with that said, we're going to continue this talk, but I want to remind the listening audience that today at 3 p.m. Central Time, just a few hours from now, we've invited our sister Rashida Strober to talk about her dark-skinned woman's revenge play that she's about to perform in Atlanta, Georgia, November the 17th, 2018. And if things go all well, your brother Angel Snub 7, I will also be in Atlanta, November the 17th, 2018. I'm very sure she's going to bring the details, and I'm going to put the link in the description box, or you can email us and we'll give you the information. If you live in the Atlanta area, you know, we wish to invite you out to see this sister do her play live. Matter of fact, her play will be a pay-per-view live also for those who won't be able to, you know, make that trip or not in that area. And I'm very sure also that Rashida and myself, we will be so happy to see you in person, November the 17th, 2018, as our sister does her play live, Dark Skin Women's Revenge. Now, also I want to remind you that we are currently, matter of fact, I don't know whether we're currently in the drive or not, because I did hear through the grapevine we're seeking at least $1,000. We're trying to raise $1,000 to finish our radio station. Our brother Craig, who is the administrator of information, is setting up a actual radio station so that we can broadcast and be able to speak when YouTube or social media in general makes their move to begin to shut down the voices of soul brothers and sisters. So we want to be able to continue to broadcast and do our thing by having our own radio station. In fact, it would be a mobile radio station where we can come to your town, or we can rent a building and talk in certain areas and invite people live to hear us speak. So if you're interested in helping us with this task, with this project, you know, again, you can contact Brother Craig at on his channel, African Supremacy TV. Send us a notation to our email, the therealitystempleonearth at AOL.com. Our contact information is in the description box of most of these videos. And it's one more thing that I would like the audience to to ask of you and request of you, especially to those who have decided, I want to get on board the soul train. There is something that I call Soul Liberation Day, December the 9th, 2018, where I will be officially kicking off Operation Exodus Mississippi. And by that time, I would like to have 20 to 100 strong team members, not followers. We don't follow nobody here. You can ask Brother Taalik. We have differences of opinion. We think differently. We don't do that follow stuff. This is a team. We all work together. Anything that anybody brings to the table is taken into consideration on an equal basis. There is no following here. We don't follow nobody. This is a team. Team Operation Exodus Mississippi. What I would like to bring forth on that day, I would like to have 20 to 100 strong members. And we had a Google Hangout last night, and those who were in the chat room said, that ain't no problem. We're going to get that done. I'm like, all right. I mean, I think, you know, we're getting close to 20 already. So that's the 20 minimum. We're going to be able to get that very, very soon, easy. But I would like to show 100. I mean, that should be easy to do. And the chat room says it's easy to do. So by December the 9th of this year, 100 strong members, man. Woo, 100 strong people on board this soul train. Man, we're going to be doing, I'm telling you, we're going to start putting some of these people out of business. You know, all these YouTubers that's all about money and Patreon accounts and all like that. We're going to start putting a lot of these folks out of business when folks start to see how strong that we're getting. And of course, there's going to be the jealousy and the envy. But see, you should not be jealous. You should not be envious. We have a great plan here. We have something that was given to us. revealed to us that is wonderful. It can work. The only thing we got to do is work it. So there's no need to get jealous or envious or be a hater. If you don't understand, don't worry about the understanding. Just do the work. The understanding will come to you. And the benefits, once we accomplish this, man, and I just can't, I can't really describe. It opens the door for so much. But I would like 20 to 100 strong team members on board the Soul Train by December the 9th, 2018. And that's the announcements, all the announcements that we have for right now. And I'm going to pass the mic to continue our talk for about another 45 minutes or so. I'm going to send the mic off to our brother, Assistant Minister Taalik. There you go.
Yes, sir. Thanks, brother Taalik Ibn'rad. Yes, brothers and sisters, where I left off yesterday, in our pod series about the thought that blacks may have to leave America. I left off where I was speaking about our fight. It's not as far as the Hispanics is concerned, and their struggles against racism in this country. And as we've seen, especially for the last past over 12 months since Trump has been in office, we've seen how that's panned out with the situation of the immigrants crossing the border and getting children taken away and all that good stuff. And then the hurricane situation that affected Puerto Rico that still got them, economically crippled more so than they previously were. Prior to the hurricane that happened, and how, the United States has abandoned them, well, that's not our fight. Because when things are happening to us as dark-skinned descendants of slaves born in America, you don't see none of them hardly as a mass number on the front line with us, trying to help us to fight racism and oppression under the cloaks of white supremacy. You don't see them, showing any interest in our plight as a people, and, to the point where, they can identify, but we want to rush to their aid. You know what I'm saying? These people don't care nothing about us. Matter of fact, these are the same people that come in our neighborhoods, own stores, treat us like any other foreigner that come to this country, and don't put no money back into our communities and just leave us dry, like a dry water well. You know what I'm saying? So, it's like that's not our fight. And that's the point where I left off at. Now, further moving on, and considering the fact that we may have to leave America is very serious, because, we seeing constantly, even in the news, on social media, how people, especially Caucasians, are previously calling the police on black people, old and young, even down to, children age kids,
right,
just calling the police on black people for no reason, no apparent outright reason, just outrightly calling the police on black people for no reason. And it's like, we keep complaining about this kind of stuff, but we ain't trying to do nothing about it, because, like, as I was talking about earlier in the video, that we're just being comfortable in our oppression. We've been here over 400 years already under this oppression, and it's like we've gotten that far too much institutionalized.
Yes, sir.
You know, by being caught up in our oppression state. So, I mean, you know, with the much truth that has come to us, especially at this platform, you know, now we are, you know, on a mission to launch and take an action to change our condition for once and for all as a people, you know, and whether people, you know, feel like they tangibly see that or don't tangibly see that, that's not our problem. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
You know, we doing what we need to do in the right perspective, in the right way, and not in a disorganized way. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, as far as that's concerned, we are actually in motion of doing what we need to do to get up out this condition.
Yes, sir.
You know, and we will eventually see things tangibly, you know, reveal itself as time moves on. Whether we are successful with the operation of Exodus, Mississippi, or whether we're successful in even relocating out this country. I'm going to say that again. But also, I'm going to tell you now, and a brother, you know, one of the things he said at the end of the video yesterday, I totally can say this myself, that it would make more sense to be organized
yes,
in even doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Because we don't want to, you know, do like those in Iraq and places like Syria, or those over there in the continent. You know, we don't want to make no drastic moves. You know what I'm saying? Like they do, like going to Europe or coming to America or whatever. We don't want to make no drastic moves that may put our lives in danger at the same time. We want to do things in a very organized, you know, coordinated manner. That way, you know what I'm saying, we ain't got to worry about losing our lives trying to get from point A to point B, if you understand what I'm trying to say. So we need to actually make things happen, you know, without being disorganized or disrupted. You know, that is very important. I just wanted to point that out.
Yes, sir.
You know, and if we can't agree with each other on certain things, even so, let's just put that to the side and keep moving along. You know what I'm saying? Because right now, the little trivial, petty differences we have, and you know, if there are those that's not willing to work with us, we need to just even, you know, leave them to the side, as well as leaving our differences to the side. You know, as a matter of fact, he does that all the time. They've been doing that for centuries. That's why they're still in power on this planet Earth, because they have been able to master in containing their differences without letting it disrupt their objective, and staying in a position of in a position as being rulers in this earth. You know, and that's just a fact. It ain't got nothing to do with you know, no prophecy or that saying that that's the way that God wanted it to be, or you know what I'm saying, or some other false justification, you know, to keep for other humans, to keep other humans under oppression, as we've been kept under oppression for over 400 years. So, you know, like I said, at the end of the day, we need to understand and realize that. And we need to understand and realize also, too, that we cannot be playing games with this, you know. It is stuff going on, you know, in the economic realms right now, as well as the political realms of this nation, where we may not have no choice. You know, just think about it like this. Just like that recent hurricane that just happened a couple of days ago down in Florida. You know, people don't know they trying to salvage food. You know, some ain't even got no water. You know, some of them don't even have no air conditioning or nothing. They just totally desolate. Just think about that happening throughout the whole entire United States when this economy crashed. Because the way that they even talking, the Caucasians, of course, and the ones who have reasoning and understanding of what's going on in these times right now, they know that something is about to happen. I mean, they could see it, you know, right down the pipeline. You know, it's something that's about to erupt and it's about to happen. And those of us who are dark-skinned descendants of slaves born in America, if we do not come to this understanding, if we do not open our eyes to this fact that this country is economically falling, you know, then we are in trouble. We're going to be right in trouble with the slave master. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, it's just time to wake up. I mean, you know, a lot of people in the Black conscious community say we shouldn't worry about that because that ain't nothing but cracker stuff, you know. We need to let them work that out. Yeah, true. We need to let them work that out. But however, when things go to happening, it's going to affect us too. Yes. That's just the plain out truth of the matter. So we ain't prepared to sidestep this by getting us a sanctuary called the state of Mississippi by taking over the politics of that state and surrounding ourselves with the protection that we need for a safe haven for us and our people as a whole, and also taking that same initiative in other states in that region like Alabama, Georgia, Florida, South North Carolina, you know, Louisiana, you know, where's a good majority of us at. Then we're going to be there in the same position when things really get ugly. When we got to deal with martial law and stuff like that. Because, I mean, the way things are going, especially, you know, contrary to what they're telling you in mainstream media, I'm here to say that we are in more trouble than we think we are as a population in this nation. And, I mean, people could keep on taking this for a joke all they want to. We've seen what happened in 2008. That was real, and it could have got worse again. Well, now it may get too worse, or it may be too late for the Caucasian to turn this situation around. That's the type of situation we're facing right now. So, you know, we could keep taking this for some type of kind of game. And like I think I said yesterday, as far as us as being the first ones, you know what I'm saying, to be taken to the concentration FEMA camps and hauled off to the mass grave, you know, where those plastic coffins will be waiting for us. And as well, it's not no joke. This is serious. Yes. And I'm going to reiterate this like I said before yesterday. This is not some thing called conspiracy theory. Do your own research. That's all you got to do. You research all this other stuff about Egypt, Kemet, Africa, whatever. You know what I'm saying? You do other different types of, you know, relevant or irrelevant researches like on religion and all this. Will research that too, about what's economically really going on in this country. Research the fact that they got hundreds of FEMA concentration camps set up throughout the entire United States. The one they got up in Alaska, which could contain 1 million occupants. far as inmates. This is serious. This is not no joke.
Yes, sir.
So we want to keep playing games. Keep playing them. This is our life. It's like this is their children, like the generations life. This is their grandchildren, generations life. You know, I mean, we need to stop playing. People, we really need to stop playing. This is not no game. I don't know how much I could repeat this because I don't want to make myself sound redundant.
Right.
But the fact is the fact.
Yes, sir.
Of the matter that things are seriously happening. You're seeing that these people is gunning us down every America 99% of the time, if not 100% of the time, ain't nothing being done about it. Period. Shouldn't that be enough sign? Shouldn't it be enough sign that all these people just outright calling the police on black people because they know they can, because they know the police won't respond when you identify a black person, so on. You know what I'm saying? This is not no game. Their intentions is to get rid of us.
Yes, sir.
You know?
And I want to say this. Actually, I want to let you know, brother minister, we have a brother in the cubicle with us, and I want you to acknowledge that brother, brother Gary. How you doing, there, brother Gary?
Hey, what's going on there, brother Taalik? What's going on, Minister Man? I came in there,
all right.
Hey, not much, brother. I'm in here to give you my support. To listen.
Yes, sir.
You know me.
Yes, sir.
I sit back and just sit there and listen and blessing. What you do is all in good intent and good effort. For the plight to elevate, like you say, the dark-skinned people, especially here in North America. In spirit, you have my support, and I'm just here to listen and listen.
Yes, sir.
And I appreciate you. Peace and respect to you.
Peace and respect to you too, also, brother. Is there anything that you wanted to bring to the conversation, or you just want to listen, my brother?
No, I'm just gonna listen, bro. I'm just listening.
All right.
Yeah. If I had something to say, brother Taalik, I'll say something. But in this discourse, I'd rather just sit back and listen. As it evolves and develops, you know what I'm saying? Because I know it's in its preliminary stage right now in discussion, and gradually it'll start to materialize. So I'm gonna listen and what have you. And then eventually I would just ask for like details and how progress is going and et cetera, et cetera.
Yes, sir.
So, yeah.
Well, brother Gary, I'm glad to. Actually, I met brother Gary in person, so
Yes, sir.
But I don't know how brother Gary recognized me when I was really, really raggedy looking. I don't know how the hell he recognized me. All shaven, raggedy clothes, messed up. I don't even know how you recognize me, man.
Brother, I've been knowing you for years, man. I've been knowing you for almost 8. I want to say I've been knowing you for close to 10 years.
Yeah, it's real close.
We corresponded a little bit on YouTube. We talked on Blog Talk Radio when you had it.
Yeah.
You've been lasered in my head because I always listen to your videos for over 8, 10 years. So when I was walking into the place up in Arkansas, I immediately recognized you. And so you looking raggedy. I don't think you look raggedy, but that's just how you look at yourself. You look just like you are. You know what I'm saying? And I immediately, I swear, man, I immediately recognized who you was and what happened. I said your name because I called you Taalik. Yeah. And you looked at me and all that. And then we had a good conversation for about almost close to 2 hours, right up in this, having a powwow right up in the store by the ATM.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. You and that one brother with you.
Yeah, he's still around. He's still around. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
He's still. Yep.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh. But
it's a beautiful thing, man. It's a beautiful thing.
And you always check on me, bro. And yes, I know I know that little debate you had. I sat there and listened to the whole thing. I says, well, Taalik, he's a harsh critic, but he means well. He details. He has to say what it is. And if anybody knows Taalik way back in the day, and even now, Taalik will criticize even himself and anybody. Yes, sir. Yes.
See, they don't know that part. They don't know that I criticize myself.
Years, man. You gotta tell people, man. I mean, just like you and I get the same thing when I have a lot of discussions when I'm on the platform and on an apparatus having a discussion about religion, politics, social issues, psychology, and what have you. There's always gonna have somebody that disagrees with me, and there's a lot of times I've been wrong and what have you and stuff. But I tell people, man, there's a method to my madness because I am abusive. I'm a polemate. I'm a person that sometimes I utilize the I don't try to provoke, I try to invoke without and I try to incite people in my argument because I'm very argumentative. I mean, if you see me argument and debate, what have you, I'm a polemate. What I do is because I study a lot of avenues and different things and what have you, and I know where they're coming from, not in a sense of arrogance or thinking I'm knowing more about what you believe in intellectually. But I take the substance that somebody presents to me and I kind of present it back to them to self-reflect, question their own premise and their own approach. You see what I'm saying? But in return, so it can help improve or somewhere in an area where somebody is pretty much stuck, but they think that's the limit. Perhaps something in my endeavor is trying to make them broaden or even break a little slight strata or mold to another level of elevation in that regard or in that application, brother. But I don't want to disrupt what you and Minister, I've seen and listened to Minister. Talking about the descriptions, about what's going on, the social ills, speaking about the FEMA camps. I mean, he's giving a good description. What else he was referring to? Speaking about the quote unquote demand. And I came in when you were speaking about it. That's good. You said that you have 100 supporters, and we're
working on it.
That's good, and that's very good, man. And like I said, I don't want to take over your thing and what have you, but man, like I said, in spirit, you have my support, bro. And as things evolve and transpire, perhaps I will engage a little if I can do anything to contribute.
Yes, sir.
That can bring value to it to help cultivate things. But other than that, I'm learning more about it, and that's why I'm sitting here. I just want to listen and listen and listen. But if you want to ask me any questions or what have you, by all means, what have you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Well, I would like to bring you back, as a guest, because that original conversation that we had, in that place when we first met in person, and you was telling me, because I could, the things that you was telling me about yourself and your struggle and how you evolved, I think that would be really nice for the people to see that, man. It's just, like I said, we've known each other for about 10 years, go way back in the day, and I didn't know that you was going through all that. I had no idea. You've really evolved and you've changed and you've done some things. And I think that would be a story that really could be inspirational for a lot of us out here. And it's an inspirational story. It's not fantasy. It's not fiction. It's just that human desire to be a better person. Simple as that.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that's why my old YouTube got shut down for copyright infringements and what have you. I was really deep into metaphysics and esoteric knowledge, history. I was really strong on the real, I wouldn't say pro-black, but I was my emphasis, I made videos. I made a lot of videos about utilizing John Henry Clark and Phil Valentine. But then those tragedies that occurred in my life actually help me hit the reset button. And by the reset button, it all boils down that's the reason why now when you see a lot of my videos, like when you see them on Facebook, on my YouTube, I put more emphasis on the individual.
Mm-hmm.
What my problem was is that, you know, yeah, I was very knowledgeable. I was very in depth with a lot of schools of thought. Matter of fact, I was having a discussion on Facebook, a discussion with a bishop and military military personnel. But you know, he was saying that, dang, it seemed like you're very deep. And I said, yeah, I studied that stuff 25 years ago, you know, back in high school. And I said, everybody can verify it. But my thing is that I was so emphasized too much. I mean, you've seen some of my videos, even on Facebook. My emphasis was so concerned, which it should not diminish or exclude the external things such as social institution or cultural climate and anything that is detrimental to our development or what have you. My problem was and by doing so, I didn't realize that I was negating my own thing. So therefore, my strategies, and I said my breakdown was actually my breakthrough. And I say, and I'm not a religious person, but I still extract of truth out of religions that are applicable, that are tangible, you know. And that's why, you know, when I look at the teachings of Jesus, which I used to be a big critic of religion, but however, I think that it should be criticized, but then there's kernels of truth out of it, you know, such as looking at yourself. Or like I says, when you hit your crisis, therefore you find your Christ, not the literal Christ. Right. You know, not the literal Christ. Yeah, I did have a lot of personal tragedies and what have you, and those and calamities and mishaps that were out of my hand. But then a lot of them were in my hands, and that's why I'm a strong person of empowering ourselves. And like you're a person that believes strongly in reality. And what I found out, I wanted to reconnect myself more on nature, which is quote unquote reality, and to empower our relationship with nature. You know, and I was too indulged in, you know, I was a student of Dr. York and what have you and stuff. And then even before I do, I kind of,
I was too, brother. So I definitely know what you're talking about there.
Yes, I was a student of Dr. York. But I left in '98. But I've learned a lot out of it. You know, I don't want to. You know, basically, I knew there was some things that were going on, and I didn't like it. Even though there was a lot of discrepancies in hindsight, in retrospect, you can look at. You know, I don't want to. I don't get into it to the Nawapins and what have you. But I did. It was a degree. It was a stepping stone because I do value and appreciate that I did go through that schools of thought. Right. You know, then I got too indulged in too much of the abstract. You know, and Taalik was on it. I mean, he was a dude that was believing in reality. He don't like messing with all that. He always says that I don't mess with none of that. Like the Bilderbergs and Illuminati. He was on the way before I started realizing that stuff. I had to get more into reality. Even though I wasn't delusional, I was just invested too much into that stuff. Like the metaphysics and chakras and kundalinis. And I'll say, dang, well, you know, now in retrospect, I look at it, I'm like, damn, I'm too worried about kundalinis now. Why don't I just deal with the here, the now, and deal with my issues, you know what I'm saying? And deal with the immediate thing. And once I do so, I can work myself in and work myself out where I can illuminate and people can visually with reality see it and hear it, and that can inspire them and give them the motivation and give them the enthusiasm to help whatever, to encourage them. I can never fix nobody, but I can help, if anything, and assist. And that's what I do, you know, in my life that I've been through. And I think that's what Taalik was speaking about when I was talking about.
All right. Well, with that said, brother, I'm glad that you're on the forum. You sit back and relax. We got about, I guess, another 20 minutes maybe at the max, because I got my guest Rashida Strober. She'll be in the house at 3 o'clock, so I have to get ready to bring her in. But we started this conversation last night, and I wanted to go ahead and bring it to a conclusion.
Okay. Well, I just want to finish up in this conclusion. I just want to finish up touching on some things, brother. You know, because situation. Oh, and thanks for one again for having Brother Gary on there.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. You know, I was, you know, he really brought back some past history stuff where he brought Dr. York up. Because, I mean, you know, if I didn't know some of the stuff that was beneficial that he taught, you know, I wouldn't be the type of individual I am in terms of speaking the way that I do, you know?
Exactly.
And I'm not saying, and I'm not saying that, you know, I'm not giving all credits to him, because there were those also other ones that I was influenced by, but by way of studying his teachings, I also studied other scholars as well because of his influence. And I am greatly indebted to that, you know. But I can say this here, though, that at the same time, it's now time to take that which I know and apply that. And that's what we're about here, you know, on this platform.
Mm-hmm.
And my thing is this, is that I would like to just say that we need to really take things into account that we may not have that much time at all left.
Mm.
I mean, you know, we are in a situation, in a very dire situation, that we may have to organize. You know, I mean, even if that means that, hey, we go down there to Mississippi and organize, you know, the voting power. Go to Alabama, organize the voting power. You know, go to Georgia, Florida, Louisiana, wherever, Tennessee, even Kentucky. You know, but I wouldn't say Kentucky because it's not that many of us in Kentucky, besides maybe Louisville or Lexington or something like that. But we definitely need to get to Mississippi, you know, places like that down there where we are the majority and, you know, organize the voting power in our favor so that we can have some type of protection around us.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because I mean, if we don't, we in serious trouble. We are done, and like I say, then that's where, you know, next from A to Plan B come in. That, you know, we may have to, you know, organize just to get up out of America. And I mean, unfortunately, fortunately, there are countries that we could file for certain type of refugee asylum statuses because of our situation currently as people in this country. If we went to where they have a lot of embassies at, like in places like Washington, D.C., New York, and other consulate embassies in certain other parts of the United States, you know, we will have a strong case as far as our situation as dark-skinned descendants of slaves born in America. You know, we will have actually a case that we can make. And I mean, just look what happened with Haiti. They went to the Brazilian embassy, and they got passports and went off to Brazil. You know what I'm saying? They got up on that hill in Haiti. You know, it could be done. You know, that's just one example. You know, that could be done. Things could be done. If we really want freedom and equality and true justice from this crap that we are going through in America as a people. You know, we can make something happen. We ain't got to sit around and wait. You know, we may, like I said last night, we may have to salvage up whatever we have, and we may have to leave some things behind. But not in a disorganized way. we still may have to leave behind some things, even if that's material, tangible material, family members, friends, whatever. Because that's the type of situation we are in. I mean, I'm just speaking the reality of it. You can see what's happening, especially with many of you on social media. You watch what's going on in the news. You know, you see what's happening all over the internet, the social media and things like that, you know. So like I said, it's no time to waste. It's either we do what we need to do, get this thing together, and let's fight to take our liberation, or we got to flee America just so we can have more freedom from this crap that we under, then hey, so be it. You know, I mean, and like I said yesterday, don't just go anywhere. If you do seek to leave America, don't go anywhere, just anywhere. Study, research. Know where you're going, and then make that move and go. And as far as just simply talking about it, that's not going to get nothing done. We've seen the results of that factual proof, you know, because we still here. Up under the foot of white supremacy. See, it's one thing to be in Africa and deal with, you know, the oppressions that the indigenous dark-skinned people are going through over there, or in the Caribbean, or in Central and South America, but we're right up under the foot of this beast. That's quite a big difference when you look at our situation. We're right up under the foot of this beast. You know, but I mean, you know, like I say, we have times. What do we want to do? Either set up sanctuaries like they got for these illegal immigrants and other immigrants around the country, or so we can have some protection for us and our people and our babies, or we get up out of America, where we could go somewhere safer and feel, you know, safe and have some type of kind of sanctuary protection around us wherever we may go out of America, or just simply die. We got three choices that I just named. So, I mean, that's all I can say, because affirmative action, civil rights, definitely ain't making that choice for us. Except death, rather to say. You know. But you know, and the thing about it is that you know, we need to also understand and realize that you know, waiting on politicians in terms of black politicians to help us is not gonna cut. You seen what happened when Obama was president. You know, you got these black representatives and congressmen and senators, you know, and half of them is corrupt as heck. And they definitely ain't doing nothing for the interests of our people. You know, the only black politicians I've ever known in this country or nation's history that ever did anything for us was Adam Clayton Powell and the brother Lumumba, who's mayor of Jackson, Mississippi, until they killed him. Yeah, they assassinated him. He ain't died from no cancer. They assassinated that brother. You know, but yeah, like I said though, you know, and a couple other dark-skinned politicians I can name. You know, like Shirley Chisholm, you know. Those people was hated in American politics. You know, because they were not the common, typical, traditional Negro politician, as you would say. And that by the lack of term or word. You know, so like I said, you know, I mean, I guess, you know, that's speaks for itself. We see what's happened with that. You know, so like I say, under oppression every day. And we keep talking about it, you know, but we ain't doing nothing about it. We're talking about it and we ain't doing nothing about it.
Right.
That's the whole key to the situation. Why do we even need to keep talking about it and we ain't trying to do nothing about it? You know, I mean, what do you expect when you living up under this oppressor?
Mm-hmm.
When you living among his kind? When you living among other groups that in this country that don't like you? What do you expect? You expect them to have God suddenly or religion miraculously? You know, the change? No. This has been an ongoing for over 400-year situation.
Mm-hmm.
No. And they don't intend to change, as you can obviously see. So only a person who is very redundant, and I hate to use the word, but it sounds retarded.
Mm-hmm.
To make yourself sound when you know what's going on and you see it's not going to change unless we do something about it changing. Unless we do something to change this, it's going to continue on happening. And that's just the point. And I mean, you know, we could keep on protesting, get out in the streets, holler Black Lives Matter, all this other craziness, ain't gonna get us no daggone where.
Mm-hmm.
Matter of fact, you see what the police doing, they either arresting you or shooting you. Now you're a black extremist if you are in Black Lives Matter.
Mm.
So now they really trying to stamp down on your so-called freedom of speech.
Mm-hmm.
That we really never too much had to begin with anyway. So, I mean, it's like, you know, we can keep on playing games all we want to. I mean, this thing here is going to keep on intensifying among us as a people, well as against. And we don't recognize this situation, we're going to keep on getting what we get until we are willing to be man and women enough to say, hell, enough with this. We're done, and make something happen for real instead of talking about it. That's all, you know. That's why I don't care for these frivolous debates.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's why I don't care nothing about, you know, who's wearing gold or blonde perm in their hair,
Mm-hmm.
or red or blue perm in their hair. I don't care nothing about that. I don't care who's homosexual, who's lesbian.
Mm-hmm.
I don't, you know, listen, I'm at the point, I don't even care who's a killer. You know, it's something wrong with us all as descendants born in America, as descendants of slaves born in America. It is some type of psychological, you know, immoral, you know, characteristic defect with us all as, you know, enslaved, kidnapped people in this nation. You know what I'm saying? Over 400 years of slavery, enslavement, servitude, oppression, lynching, judicial lynchings, penal colony lynchings.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? All that. You know, drug addiction, alcohol addiction. You know, you can keep naming it. I mean, what do you expect? What produces those defects?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you got to understand this was raped. on them plantations, and not just the females, the males too.
Mm-hmm.
See, that's the one part you ain't gonna too much hear about in our history concerning chattel slavery.
Mm-hmm.
You know, yeah. So, like I said, I mean, yeah, we got to understand we are suffering from all type of stuff. We don't have no right to judge no dark-skinned person that is a descendant of slaves in America has no other dark-skinned descendant of slaves born in America. We all have deficiencies. But once we can ourselves, like with Operation Exodus Mississippi,
Mm-hmm.
by taking politically and making our reality a new living reality, where even our babies could see change coming for real.
Mm-hmm.
All that
Mm-hmm.
in its own due time, all that will vanish away.
Don't have to worry.
Don't have to worry. You know, so you sit up and try to ostracize one another. You know, I mean, it's definitely senseless. You know, I mean, and it's insanity. You know, that's just like the pot calling the kettle, or the kettle calling the pot, rather how they say that. You know, I mean, so like I said, you know, we have no right to judge each other like that in that negative tone of sense, because we are all slaves until we change our condition to get up out of this predicament.
Mm-hmm.
You know, no matter how much money we got, seen what that meant for Bill Cosby. We seen what that meant for Mike Tyson and O.J. Simpson, and the list could go on. I mean, you know. So, like I said, you know, the whole thing about this is that we mean nothing to these people. We have to show that we mean something to ourselves in order to make a new reality for ourselves. You know, and like I said, that's just simply the bottom line to that. You know, and yes, I know you, brother, you ready to close out, but I just had to get that in, you know. And that this is the dire situation that we're in. This is a very volatile situation that we're in, and we can't keep on playing with our lives like this. You know. That's one reason why I keep up with this unquote white man's news every day. This is why I keep up with social media and even certain type of media that's not recognized by mainstream media. You know what I'm saying? But with all news, because I have an open mind to anything that I may find that's very, you know, relevant to our situation.
Yes.
And that's very important. You know, so just because it's the white man's news don't mean that I'm supposed to simply close my mind to that. You know, I mean, this is his world we living in, first of all. He runs and controls the media. Let's make that clear. Let's get that clear. He controls the media, the social media even. You know, because if y'all claiming y'all got your own TV shows or YouTube shows, but anytime you ready to shut these YouTube channels down completely, or Facebook or you know pages down where they be talking that pro-black conscious rhetoric stuff on, you know what I'm saying? Then what you gonna do? Right. You ain't got your own outlet to where we can socially communicate. This is why Brother Taalik is trying so hard to get us to establish certain pages It's like they say, it's when you're talking about living primitive, living off the grid.
Mm-hmm.
We have to start our own pages.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that without depending on social media like that. You know, to keep us abreast on our condition as a people to where we could do something to unite, to change our condition as a people. You know, so I mean, but like I say, man, you know, I don't have time for the rhetoric debate.
Yes.
And all that.
Yes.
You know, come to thinking about going back to the days of Dr. Malachi York, that's what we used to do as Ansars and Nuwabians on the streets.
Mm-hmm.
Wherever, you know, that organization had its channel, we used to get out there and really debate people instead of really, we debated with them more and browbeat them more with whatever superior knowledge we thought we had instead of trying to bring them into the fold for whatever the purpose was that was going to be something to unite us for once and for all as a people against this craziness called white supremacy oppression.
Mm-hmm.
And we seen where that led to.
Hmm.
From one organization to another, crumbling.
Mm.
So, you know, like I said, and which we see now, that the Nuwabians are no longer where they were, and the Black Hebrew under Yahweh Ben Yahweh,
Mm-hmm.
which is now defunct.
Mm-hmm.
The Black Panther Party, which is defunct.
Mm-hmm.
But at least the Black Panther Party, the original Black Panthers, did more. Like with the breakfast programs and medical clinic programs they had. You know, this country was a racist space so much, with so much energy and time in getting rid of them. You're seeing that Black people in that case were shit for themselves. And see, long as we are under in their regime of armed foot oppression, we cannot do anything like that. That's why we have to get a safe haven.
Mm-hmm.
To where we, like the state of Mississippi, where we could surround ourselves with protection from that and be able to fulfill anything
Mm-hmm.
we want to do. But listen, like I say, ran out of words at this point.
Well, that's good. I'll go ahead and bring it to conclusion.
Yes, sir. Once again, Brother Taalik,
yes.
Thanks for allowing me to come on here.
Yes, sir.
And, you know, do this other part.
Yes, sir. Because
our people really need to know this. And I just want to also say, greetings to our assistant, Brother Craig as well.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, and our sister Ingrid,
yes,
who's on board with us. And, you know, this thing is going to grow.
Yes, it is.
It's going to grow like a blossom flower. It's going to grow.
Yes, it is.
So, I mean, just be patient. We gonna get it together. I mean, like I said, we may not have much time or no time at all left, but, you know, as fate and the law of physics go, long as we're fighting for our lives, something like called the light at the end of the tunnel is always a reality for us.
Right.
And I'll, you know, pass the mic on to you, brother.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
To close us out.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Brother Assistant Minister Talib. Not to get confused with Taalik. T-A-A.
Yes, sir.
T-A-A-L-I-B. A-A-L-I-K.
Yes, sir.
But see, I actually created my name from T-A-A-L-I-B. That's where it come from. The only thing I did was take the B off and put a K. Little did I know that name actually already. I thought I was creating something new, but I mean, it's all good. So that was our brother, Assistant Minister Taalik, speaking on it may be time for blacks to leave America, and of course we have as a guest. I say as a ghost, as a guest in the house. We have a guest in the house, Brother Gary, aka back in the day used to be known as the Son of Will. He's in the house with us, chilling, just sitting back in the cut. And also in the chat room, we have Brother John Harry. John Harry been around for a little while here. And peace, respect you, John. Brother, he wants us to answer the question, leave America and go where? I'm going to bring this talk to conclusion. All right. What must be understood is that this taking control of a state is like a lifeboat on a ship. We are on a giant ship. We are on a Titanic. And if you have a little bit of sense, you can see that this Titanic it has hit an iceberg and is in trouble. Now, on these boats, they have these ships, they have lifeboats. And what we're attempting to do is create a lifeboat for ourselves, which will be this state that we call, or we know of as Mississippi. That's what we want to do. I must make it very clear that Mississippi is part of the U.S. This is not building your nation. This is not trying to establish your own country. This is Operation Exodus Mississippi is using our voting power because we predominantly in population in that state. So we should be able to take our vote and take control of the politics and the laws of that to benefit ourselves for a change. And if we can do that, including taking the governor's house, that means we have all the privileges of a state, which means we have access to the National Guard, we have access and control of the educational system and so forth and so forth. Now, this is still the United States. And as we begin to do this, there are going to be many folks who clearly won't like this. But whatever we do, remember, now, if we can establish something, since we can show how beneficial, making this in a poor, impoverished state and making it something, enrich that state and make it better than what it was before our control, that shows our benefit to this nation. And we should be able to speak directly to the federal government as a state, reparations and other things. You as a state, you can ask the government for our political prisoners and those of our political prisoners that are in these institutions. We can ask the federal government, would you release them to our custody? You don't have to worry about them going anywhere. Let them die and live the rest of their lives in dignity. Let us as a state have them. They won't leave the state of Mississippi. They can stay here and live in dignity for the rest of their lives. You can ask for reparations as a state. You can send out ambassadors all over this world to China, to any parts of Asia, to Africa. You can send your ambassadors out. And see, while your ambassadors are out, I'm going to answer the question that John Henry gives us. When you send your ambassadors out across the globe, they can be on the lookout for a place where if things aren't going very well in the United States, they can seek out a place and we can make deals with governments, and it don't necessarily have to be in Africa. If it's on the continent of Africa, that's fine and dandy. But anywhere where where somebody can allow you to go and create your own place for yourself as a refugee from a hostile environment. You can be doing that. Plus, as a state, while things are doing good, you can love that place. You can love that future place that you may call a residence by creating a relationship. We don't have a relationship with nobody on this planet. So you talking about going to Africa, but you don't have no relationship with no president, no ambassador. You have no relationship with no country, nowhere. We barely have an African friend that we know. So how are you going to leave and just go anywhere and you don't have any relationship? So as a state, as the representatives of a state, you can develop relationships with all types of people. And when they see you as being valuable, you don't know what kind of deal that you can get, because in this building of a new reality or taking control of the state, the emphasis must also be to the people that we cannot stay with the mindset that we have right now. In other words, we cannot continue to behave and act like the N-word. That's not going to fly. You cannot act like the N-word and control a state. We will take over the state and it will fall apart and everybody will laugh. And I told you that's what happens when Negroes take control. So it don't make no sense to go or take control of the political license of a state and you still a damn N-word. Sorry, children. I apologize. We cannot stay the N-word. To take control of this state means we must change our whole way of thinking, the whole way that we view things. We must become the holy and righteous people that we claim we are by nature. At least pretend to be so that we can get this job done. Because otherwise, you're not going to make, even if we took control of that state, it's not going to be successful. And nobody on this planet is going to want you because they already have N-words of their own in their own countries. They don't need some more to come there and mess up what they got going on. So it don't make no sense. So what you're looking here is that we must change or make a metamorphosis in ourselves. Otherwise, brothers and sisters, this can't work anyway. I compare this to what we see in a butterfly. Many of us, we view the caterpillar as a very ugly creature. A lot of them are very hairy. They look like a little worm walking around. And many people don't consider caterpillars to be very beautiful creatures. But then they go through a metamorphosis and they wrap themselves up in silk. And then in a matter of time, you see them come up out of that as a butterfly. The blood, the butterfly, a brand new creature, and that creature is able, that creature considered more beautiful than the caterpillar, but that creature is able to take flight. And that's the way we need to look at ourselves. The N-word is an ugly caterpillar. The current state that we find ourselves in, we are some ugly caterpillars. But we must go through a metamorphosis and we must change and turn into something we thought that we could never have been. If you did not see the transformation or did not have any knowledge of the metamorphosis, you will not even know that the butterfly and the caterpillar really was the same animal. And that's what we want to be. We want to become something. We're the same, but we change ourselves, go through a metamorphosis and turn it to a brand new being. So in your scriptures, it talks about the God saying that, behold, I make all things new, and the former things shall pass away. All things new. We are going to be or need to be the representative of that which is new. And all it was, they have to disappear. I know you love Islam. And I went to the followers of Elijah Muhammad. Elijah Muhammad said, that the Islam that we have will not go into the hereafter. It's not going to go to heaven. So he's telling you that the Islam, your bow ties that you be doing, and the Orthodox Islam, the Islam that you know, is not going to enter the kingdom of heaven. And the former things shall pass away. All these things that we think that we know. In order for you to make this change, because see, they are detrimental. They are of an old world. So when that caterpillar begins to change, that caterpillar is taking all that, what the caterpillar was, letting it all go. And when that caterpillar comes up out of that cocoon, a brand new creature emerges. And that's what it's going to take in order to be successful in this. Hopefully, we have enough this change. So the brother says, where will we go? Again, like I say, it could be, the options are endless. It's according to your relationship. How you change a person that's low down and dirty, they don't have a lot of friends. But when a person is nice, when a person knows how to socialize with other people, they have more advantage. They have more opportunity to know more people who like them. If nobody, your journey in this life is going to be sort of bad because nobody don't want to do nothing for you. So we need to put ourselves in a position so we would be likable. We don't want to be like these stereotypes that we've been painted around the earth. When they see you, when they see us, they want to, the people of the planet, when they see us as a butterfly, they want to see, I didn't know y'all was like that. Oh, yeah, well, see, we've changed. You know, we was always this way. It was something bad in the water that kept us, you know. But this is a brand new day. A new heaven and a new earth. Now, when the scriptures talk about a new heaven and a new earth, that don't necessarily mean there's going to be, because you can drive a new car, but you can drive a new car due to recycled materials from an old car. But recycled materials from an old car creates the new car. So it doesn't necessarily mean that we're going to, I'm not telling us that we just get rid of everything, but we need to learn how to recycle properly, put things in their proper perspective and become something new. So the old Model T, a new 1980 Delta, whatever, new car, still the same, that is new. So we have to change. You cannot be successful to continue being in the mindset that we're in. Our mentality that we have right now is not going to do us any good when we begin to interact with people around this earth. They don't want to hear all these teachings that we claim that we got. These people are not interested because, I mean, it just don't make any sense. It only makes sense to those of us in this particular situation. You're going to have to accept reality for what it is. You're going to have to learn how to talk as a nation, not as what your personal belief or whatever. You're going to have to learn how to talk on a national level, understand what it means to talk to another nation, other leadership. You cannot, the way that we bring or present ourselves, you cannot go to the leader of North Korea or to the leader of Iran or the Congo talk. They're not going to, they're going to look at us like we're mad people, insane. We have to learn how to be national people instead of slaves. Because right now, we're just a bunch of confused slaves. A lot of you over here, a lot of you over there, and we don't know where we're going. We're almost like a dog chasing his tail. And that's not going to work. But again, to answer the question, leave America and go where? The first thing is that, like I said, you don't have to go nowhere. We actually could make it right here in America. But should things go bad, do that, then the second plan should always be world we go into Exodus. And that Exodus should be organized. It should not be due to panic. It should be an organized Exodus. Matter of fact, I would even suggest little by little, when we are in a good state, that we slowly little by little begin to make those moves. So when the move has to be made, that ain't no problem. We know exactly where to go because the way has already been made. The only thing we have to do is roll. But again, keep up with the things that's going on here, and keep up with the actions of people, because you don't want to be able to get caught up, because if you allow yourself to get caught up, you might not be able to make a move at all. And so, we have to move sort of wisely and keep up and understand that we are living in a hostile environment. So I hopefully I answered that a little bit, give you a sneak peek into that thinking process. And maybe we're done. I don't know. Brother Gary, you still there?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Is there anything you want to say, brother, or is there a question or something that you might have that I can probably see if I can?
No, sir.
Speak on?
No, sir.
No, sir. No, sir. Brother Taalik?
No, sir.
No, sir. So
you going to be on today at 3 o'clock?
Yeah, we're gonna have Sister Rashida is gonna be in the house.
Okay, bet.
Yeah, she's gonna talk about her place that she's bringing to Atlanta, Georgia.
Oh, okay.
And November the 17th of this year. And hopefully I'll be there with her. I want to see her in person.
Okay.
And probably talk a little bit more about, Operation Exodus too, because I don't think she about it. And we might talk about that too. She doesn't have a lot of time. She said she got about an hour. So,
Okay.
It's her day. It's about, her play. And I want to support my sister, in her efforts.
Okay.
With that said, again, shout out to Brother John Henry in the chat room. Shout out to Brother Minister Talib with a B, T-A-A-L-I-B. Most people call me Angel Snubbed Up 7 anyway. Y'all just recently start calling me Taalik. I'm usually Angel Snubbed Up 7. That way they won't get confused. Taalik, Talib, and Taalik. And of course, honor that our brother Gary will come in here and sit with us also. Brother Gary, you're in a hotel room.
Yeah, my truck is busted overpants.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay.
You know how it is.
Yeah. Believe me, believe me, I do. Oh man, I got I got a brand new International 2019.
Get out of here. Yeah. You liking it?
19, bro. But what I don't like about it is it's automatic.
Oh, that's your first automatic?
No, but I don't like automatics.
I love them automatics. I love them.
Losing some of that control.
Yeah, I got hitting that clutch. I know a lot of the new trucks have them air, clutches, man, but I shoot. I got knee surgery, been shot in the leg, and after a while, that takes a toll on my left leg.
Yeah, that's
automatic. Yeah.
It's advantages and disadvantages to everything.
Yes, sir.
Because believe me, when I get in them traffic jams, I be loving it.
Exactly. You know what time it is, man. Yep.
Yeah.
All right, hey, Minister and Talib and Taalik, I'll see y'all around, man.
Yes, sir. We out of here, y'all. As important, brothers and sisters, hope to see y'all later at 3 o'clock. Rashida Strober be in the house. Until then, as important as our ancestors, soul brother Don Cornelius always used to say, I wish us love, peace, and soul. And we out.
Peace.